Congratulations on the decision you've made to explore business ownership in the state of Alabama. Through the collective efforts of RCLF, Alabama Extension, and Balch and Bingham, this Starting a Business in Alabama video series will provide you with valuable information guiding you along the process of creating your business in Alabama. RCLF, Alabama Extension, and Balch and Bingham look forward to partnering with you in the future as you create, develop, and expand your small business. Today's video is about choosing a business entity type in Alabama. Please educate yourself on these entity types through this video in the attached table, but always seek the advice of a trusted attorney and accountant before making your final decision. In Alabama, there are 6 business entity types to choose from: corporations, limited liability companies, sole proprietorships, general partnerships, limited partnerships, and limited liability partnerships. The table shows the numerous characteristics of each business type in easy to understand terms. You may want to print the table and make notes on it as you view this video. Let's consider the business entity types available for businesses owned by multiple owners: corporations, partnerships, and limited liability companies, also referred to as LLCs. LLCs, corporations, limited partnerships, and limited liability partnerships file formation documents with the Alabama Secretary of State's office. General partnerships are not required to file documents with the Secretary of State. Let's start by looking at the 3 different types of partnerships in Alabama: general partnerships, limited partnerships, and limited liability partnerships. Although each of these business entity types include the word partnership, each specific business type has unique attributes. One quality that all partnerships have in common is that they have 2 or more owners. There can never be a partnership with only one owner. General partnerships are the oldest form of partnership. A general partnership may, but does not have to, file registration papers with the Secretary of State's office. A general partnership may choose to file a statement of partnership with the Alabama Secretary of State's office, and at the time of this recording, the filing fee is $200 plus service or credit card fees. If the statement of partnership is submitted to the Alabama Secretary of State, a name reservation will need to be attached. A name reservation will only be issued if the name of the partnership is unique from any other entities in Alabama. The fee for a name reservation is $28 if paid online and $25 plus credit card fees, if applicable, if paid by mail. There are no annual reporting requirements for general partnerships. There must always be 2 or more owners in a general partnership. Those owners are referred to as general partners, and the ownership stake is usually equal among the partners unless outlined differently in the partnership agreement. The partnership agreement is a contract written by an attorney to govern the general partnership and is signed by all the partners. Each partner is personally liable for the actions of the other partners, including business, debts, taxes, and any tort liability. The partners pay taxes on business profits on their personal income tax returns and at their personal income tax rates. The IRS also requires the partnership to file an informational return stating how much profits are divided amongst the owners. If the partnership files bankruptcy, each of the partners' personal assets could be affected. General partnerships are simple to open, and they include combined assets of all the partners. The negative attributes are that you have shared decision-making and all liabilities are shared among the partners. The 2 other types of partnerships in Alabama are limited partnerships and limited liability partnerships. Information about limited partnerships and limited liability partnerships are included in the attached table. Because of the complexity of those two entity types, I would strongly encourage someone interested in those to seek legal advice from a business attorney for more information. Another business entity type in Alabama is a corporation. Corporations are required to register with the Alabama Secretary of State's office. Once the corporation has picked a name for its business, it would need to check the availability of the business name by searching on the Alabama Secretary of State's website. The corporation's name must contain the word corporation or incorporated or an abbreviation of one of these words, Inc. or Corp. If the name is available, the corporation will need to file a name reservation with the Secretary of State's office, along with the corporation's certificate of formation. At the time of this recording, the fee for filing a name reservation is $28 if paid online and $25 plus credit card fees, if applicable, if paid by mail. The name reservation must be obtained prior to filing the formation documents. The fee for filing the certificate of formation is $200 plus technical fees. As of October 1st, 2024, corporations are not required to file annual reports in the state of Alabama. However, they may need to file business privilege tax returns with the Alabama Department of Revenue, which will depend on the corporation's taxable income and net worth. Corporations issue stock and can have 1, 2, or more owners, depending on how many shares of stock are owned by different people in the corporation. Owners are called stockholders, and the division of ownership is determined by the shares of stock owned by each stockholder. One individual can be the sole stockholder and own 100% of the corporation's stock. If more than one individual owns shares of stock in the corporation, the number of shares of stock owned by each stockholder may vary. A corporation is governed by its officers and its board of directors in accordance with its adopted corporate bylaws. These adopted bylaws are written into an agreement prepared by an attorney. In terms of liability, stockholders are not personally liable for the obligations of the corporation. If the corporation files bankruptcy and no illegal action has been committed, the business would close, but none of the stockholders' personal assets would be affected. When it comes to taxes, corporations can be taxed as an S corporation or a C corporation. Because of these two tax designations for corporations, corporations need to work with their accountant to determine whether to file taxes as an S corporation or a C corporation. The positive attributes of corporations are that transferring ownership is easy, simply by selling and buying shares of stock. Also, it's easy to raise money for a corporation by simply selling shares of stock. A negative attribute of a corporation is that certain annual maintenance documents are required and that the corporation is governed by a board of directors and adopted bylaws. In the case of C corporations, since corporations are seen as separate legal entities, the corporation can be taxed twice, once on the corporate level and again on the individual stockholder level. The third and very popular legal entity type in Alabama is the limited liability company, commonly referred to as an LLC. LLCs do register with the Secretary of State's office. Once the LLC has picked a name for its business, it will need to check the availability of the business name by searching on the Alabama Secretary of State's website. The LLC's name must contain the words Limited Liability Company or the abbreviation L.L.C. or LLC. If the name is available, the LLC will need to file a name reservation with the Secretary of State's office, along with the LLC certificate of formation. At the time of this recording, the fees for LLCs are the same as corporations. LLCs do not file annual reports, but they may need to file business privilege tax returns with the Alabama Department of Revenue, depending on the LLC's taxable income and net worth. There can be 1, 2, or as many owners as you'd like, and those owners are referred to as members. The division of ownership percentage can be set up however you like, but must be set forth in a limited liability company agreement. Alabama requires LLCs to have a limited liability company agreement, which is sometimes called an operating agreement. It is a contract written by an attorney to govern the LLC and is signed by all the members. When it comes to liability, LLC members are not personally liable for the debts and liabilities of the company. In other words, LLCs are separated from the owners of the business. If an LLC files bankruptcy and no illegal action has been committed, the company will close, but no personal assets of the owner will be affected. Now, don't get too excited. LLCs do pay taxes. There just isn't an LLC tax structure. If there's one owner or a single member LLC, it could pay taxes as a sole proprietor or as an S corporation. 2 or more members in an LLC can file taxes as a partnership or as an S corporation, and the owners of the LLC will need to check with their accountant to find the best tax structure for their LLC. The flexibility that comes with LLCs make them extremely popular. RCLF and Alabama Extension work closely with Alabama small business owners to provide resources and coaching services to promote profitability and long-term success. Balch & Bingham partners with businesses throughout the state of Alabama, providing quality legal services at all stages of the business lifecycle. Whether you choose to form an LLC, corporation, or sole proprietorship, please consider partnering with RCLF, Alabama Extension, and Balch & Bingham throughout your business ownership journey. The next video will provide instructions on creating an account with the Alabama Secretary of State's office and identifying available business names in the state of Alabama.